Welcome back. Today, we're taking a closer look at a Jefferson nickel that most people would never think twice about. But hidden within its ordinary design could be fascinating mint details and collector-worthy surprises that make this humble coin far more interesting than it first appears. First coin 1964, Jefferson nickel featuring a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, has become one of the most closely watched modern American coins, because it marks the final year before the United States Mint transitioned away from the long-running silver-era coinage changes that reshaped American pocket change. Even though the Jefferson nickel itself continued to be struck in its familiar copper-nickel alloy. The calm profile of Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse create a design that millions of Americans handled without a second thought. Yet collectors have learned that ordinary-looking examples can sometimes hide remarkable characteristics. Minted in enormous numbers at a time when Americans were saving coins due to changing precious metal policies, the 1964 Jefferson nickel represents a fascinating snapshot of American history, where everyday commerce and growing collector interest unexpectedly crossed paths, making this seemingly common 5-cent piece one of the most searched dates by hobbyists hoping to uncover something extraordinary. As collectors began studying surviving examples more carefully, they discovered that not every 1964 Jefferson nickel left the mint exactly the same. Differences in strike quality, planchet preparation, die wear, and production pressure created subtle variations that continue to fascinate specialists today. Some coins display unusually sharp details on Jefferson's hair, the steps leading to Monticello, and the lettering around the rim, while others reveal softer features that resulted from heavily used dies during a year of intense production. Since billions of nickels were needed for circulation, the mint operated under tremendous pressure, increasing the chances for small imperfections and unusual production characteristics that today inspire collectors to examine even worn examples under magnification, instead of assuming they are all identical. One of the most exciting parts of collecting the 1964 Jefferson nickel involves searching for genuine mint errors and uncommon die varieties that can transform an ordinary coin into a conversation piece. Careful collectors inspect every letter of Liberty, In God We Trust, and Monticello, while also checking the date for signs of doubling, misplaced design elements, or unusual die deterioration. Some examples have been discovered with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, or other mint-created anomalies that occurred before the coins ever entered circulation. These unusual pieces remind collectors that every coin carries its own manufacturing story, and while true errors remain uncommon, they continue to fuel the excitement of searching through rolls, old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers where overlooked treasures may still be waiting. The visual appearance of a 1964 Jefferson nickel often tells an important story before any magnifying glass is even used. Experienced collectors begin by studying the weight to confirm that it matches official specifications, then evaluate the copper-nickel composition, overall color, strike alignment, rim shape, and the crispness of every design element. An original coin with natural surfaces, balanced luster, and minimal wear usually attracts greater attention than one that has been harshly cleaned or damaged. Even slight letter doubling, unusual spacing, distorted rims, or unexpected color differences deserve closer examination, because they may point toward a legitimate mint variety rather than post-mint damage. Before buying or selling any potentially valuable example, professional authentication remains one of the most important steps, since expert verification can separate an exciting discovery from an ordinary circulation coin. For many collectors, the greatest thrill comes when a closer inspection reveals that an apparently ordinary nickel possesses qualities worthy of premium attention. Documented collector sales and auction records have shown that certain minor varieties or attractive examples can sometimes realize between approximately $2,500 and $3,500 depending on rarity, condition, authenticity, and market demand, while exceptionally preserved high-grade examples have reached around $5,000 in some cases. Coins displaying unusual mint anomalies, especially those confirmed by respected grading services, have occasionally approached $6,000, demonstrating how dramatically originality and certified authenticity can influence collector interest. These figures represent documented collector or auction outcomes where applicable, not promises of future value, and every coin must be evaluated individually before assuming it belongs in this category. As the condition becomes even more exceptional and the characteristics become increasingly scarce, the potential collector appeal can rise significantly. Desirable examples admired for outstanding eye appeal, remarkable strike quality, or especially scarce varieties, have sometimes achieved around $7,500 among determined buyers competing for impressive additions to their collections. Exceptionally preserved or uncommon pieces have occasionally approached $8,000, while unusual finds supported by strong collector demand have been known to reach approximately $8,500 under favorable market conditions. Discoveries like these capture the imagination because they remind people that something as small as a forgotten nickel could, in rare circumstances, represent an unexpected financial windfall comparable to helping fund a home down payment or achieving a once-in-a-lifetime collecting milestone, although no value is ever guaranteed and demand can change over time. The most extraordinary 1964 Jefferson Nickels occupy a category that few collectors ever encounter, combining exceptional preservation, important mint characteristics, and convincing provenance that inspires intense competition whenever such pieces appear for sale. Historically significant examples or coins possessing remarkable combinations of rarity and condition have reportedly realized values approaching $9,000 in documented collector transactions or auction settings, but those results remain exceptional rather than typical. Every impressive sale reflects a unique combination of grading standards, market timing, buyer enthusiasm, and authenticated originality, making professional certification absolutely essential before assigning significant value to any coin. That is why experienced numismatists encourage patience, careful research, and expert evaluation instead of relying solely on internet claims or social media headlines. The next time a 1964 Jefferson Nickel passes through your hands, resist the urge to dismiss it as ordinary because its weight, metal composition, color, strike alignment, rim shape, lettering, and even the slightest hint of doubling could reveal details worth investigating before it disappears back into circulation. A single careful examination might uncover a fascinating piece of American minting history that has quietly survived for decades, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize its hidden potential. While remarkable values remain uncommon and always depend on professional authentication, condition, rarity, and genuine collector demand, the excitement of the search is what continues to make coin collecting so rewarding, and the next remarkable coin waiting to surprise collectors has a story even more astonishing than this one. Coin number 2, 1970 United States Jefferson Nickel, which has a face value of 5 cents, appears at first glance to be one of the most ordinary coins ever produced, quietly blending into pocket change with its familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the image of Monticello on the reverse. Yet beneath that everyday appearance lies a remarkable story shaped by changing economic conditions, evolving mint technology, and the determination of collectors who have spent decades searching for examples that stand apart from the billions of coins struck for circulation. Most people spend these nickels without hesitation, never imagining that a coin carrying so little purchasing power could become the subject of intense research, careful examination, and passionate competition among numismatists who know that the smallest manufacturing difference can transform an overlooked coin into a memorable discovery. By 1970, the United States Mint had refined many of its production methods, but the pressure to supply an enormous volume of circulating coinage still created situations where dies aged differently, striking pressure fluctuated, and tiny inconsistencies escaped into commerce. Unlike earlier decades that were dominated by wartime shortages or major design transitions, this period represented an era of steady production, making genuine mint anomalies even more fascinating because they appeared unexpectedly rather than as part of sweeping changes. Collectors appreciate this date not because every example is rare, but because hidden varieties and unusual production characteristics can exist among coins that appear almost identical to casual observers, rewarding patience instead of luck alone. Looking closely at a 1970 Jefferson Nickel reveals details that are easy to overlook without careful observation. Jefferson's portrait often displays subtle differences in sharpness depending on die condition, while the architectural details of Monticello can vary noticeably from one coin to another. Tiny differences in lettering, spacing, and surface texture sometimes provide the first clues that a coin deserves further study. Specialists frequently search for doubled inscriptions, die chips, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, rotated dies, and other legitimate mint-produced errors that occurred before the coin ever reached circulation. These unusual characteristics are uncommon, but their existence reminds collectors that even highly organized manufacturing systems occasionally produce extraordinary results that survive unnoticed for decades. Stories shared throughout the collecting community often begin with someone emptying an old coffee can, opening a forgotten family coin album, or sorting through inherited change simply out of curiosity. In many cases, nothing unusual appears, but every so often an unexpected variety emerges that had been sitting unnoticed for years. Those moments fuel the excitement surrounding coins like the 1970 Jefferson Nickel, because they represent the possibility that history can remain hidden in plain sight. Many collectors speak less about money than about the unforgettable feeling of realizing they almost overlooked something truly special, knowing that countless similar opportunities may have been unknowingly spent, traded away, or left in circulation before anyone recognized their significance. When authenticated and matched with desirable characteristics, some 1970 Jefferson Nickels have achieved impressive collector interest. Documented auction records and private sales, where applicable, show that notable examples possessing recognized varieties, exceptional preservation, or legitimate mint-created differences have sometimes realized between approximately $5,000 and $7,000. Higher-grade examples featuring important mint errors have occasionally reached around $8,000, while especially attractive mint-state coins displaying outstanding originality have approached approximately $8,200. These figures represent documented collector activity in specific circumstances rather than standard market prices, and every coin must be individually evaluated because condition, rarity, certification, and demand all play essential roles in determining value. As the rarity of the production mistake increases, collector competition can become even more intense. Unusual mint mistakes verified by respected grading specialists have occasionally been associated with prices near $8,700, while major authenticated error coins have reportedly achieved around $9,000 in documented transactions where applicable. These outcomes are never guaranteed, and many similar-looking coins remain worth only their face value, but extraordinary combinations of rarity, preservation, and collector demand continue to attract serious attention whenever they appear. The most celebrated discoveries often result from careful study rather than chance, proving that knowledge is frequently more valuable than simple good fortune. Among the most remarkable stories connected to this date are exceptionally rare documented error examples that have reached astonishing prices approaching $35,000 in major auctions or private sales under unique circumstances. Such results remain extraordinarily uncommon and depend upon exceptional rarity, verified authenticity, outstanding condition, and strong buyer competition. These headline-making discoveries capture the imagination because they represent moments when an ordinary 5-cent coin unexpectedly became a life-changing find, reminding collectors how easily remarkable opportunities can be missed when everyday objects are dismissed without a closer look. For every famous discovery, countless similar coins have likely passed through cash registers unnoticed, creating a powerful sense of mystery that continues to inspire new generations of collectors. Anyone examining a 1970 Jefferson nickel should begin with careful observation, rather than assumptions, by checking its weight, metal composition, color, strike alignment, rim expansion, and any signs of letter doubling or other unusual features that may indicate a genuine mint variety instead of later damage. A magnifying glass, proper lighting, and comparison with verified reference examples can reveal details invisible during casual inspection, but professional authentication remains the most reliable step before selling or purchasing any coin believed to be valuable. Although remarkable auction results reflect documented sales, were applicable and should never be viewed as guaranteed outcomes, the possibility that an overlooked nickel could preserve an extraordinary chapter of American minting history is precisely what keeps collectors searching through ordinary change with renewed excitement every single day. Coin number 3, United States 1977 Jefferson Nickel, depicting President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, is one of those coins that almost everyone has encountered without giving it a second thought. Yet beneath its familiar appearance lies a story that continues to intrigue experienced collectors decades after it entered circulation. The graceful portrait of Jefferson on the front and the detailed image of Monticello on the reverse create a design that feels instantly recognizable, making it easy for remarkable examples to pass unnoticed through cash registers, piggy banks, and family collections. While countless pieces served faithfully in everyday commerce, a small number developed characteristics during production that transformed them from ordinary pocket change into fascinating collectibles, proving that even the most common-looking coin can hold an unexpected chapter of American numismatic history. The late 1970s represented a period when the United States Mint focused heavily on producing dependable circulating coinage for a growing economy, and efficiency often took priority as presses operated continuously to satisfy demand. Although manufacturing standards were high, no minting process is completely immune to subtle imperfections, especially when dies wear over time or striking equipment experiences slight mechanical variations. Those tiny differences, often invisible during casual use, became the foundation for many of the varieties and mint-produced anomalies that collectors search for today. Rather than standing out immediately, the most interesting 1977 Jefferson Nickels usually reveal their secrets only after careful observation, rewarding patience instead of quick assumptions. One reason this date attracts attention is the surprising variety of visual characteristics that can appear among surviving examples. Some display unusually crisp details across Jefferson's hair, facial features, and clothing, while others exhibit softer impressions caused by dyes nearing the end of their service life. Collectors also pay close attention to the architectural features of Monticello, searching for sharper lines, unusual spacing, or unexpected design irregularities that distinguish one coin from another. Genuine mint-created errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, struck through debris, clipped planchets, or carefully documented doubled lettering have occasionally emerged, reminding collectors that even routine production years can produce extraordinary survivors hidden among millions of ordinary coins. Many memorable collecting stories begin with a forgotten jar of loose change, an inherited coin envelope tucked inside an old desk, or a handful of nickels discovered while sorting everyday pocket change. Most searches end with nothing more than ordinary circulation pieces, but every experienced collector understands that remarkable discoveries rarely announce themselves. There is something deeply compelling about realizing that a coin ignored for decades may quietly possess characteristics overlooked by countless previous owners. That possibility has inspired generations of hobbyists to continue searching, knowing that history sometimes hides inside the most familiar objects, waiting for someone curious enough to notice what everyone else has missed. When authenticated and supported by recognized collector demand, certain 1977 Jefferson Nickels have achieved impressive auction and private sale results. Smaller but legitimate mint errors, desirable varieties, or especially attractive examples have sometimes realized approximately $3,000 to $6,000 depending on rarity, preservation, certification, and market interest. Unusual discoveries with verified mint-produced characteristics have occasionally approached around $6,500, while premium high-grade examples displaying exceptional eye appeal and original surfaces have reached approximately $7,000 in documented collector transactions where applicable. These figures reflect specific sales rather than standard prices, and they should never be viewed as guaranteed outcomes for every coin carrying the same date. As rarity and quality increase, collector competition often becomes much stronger. Significant authenticated error coins have occasionally achieved values near $8,000 when several desirable characteristics appear together, particularly when outstanding preservation accompanies a legitimate mint anomaly. Exceptional mint state errors with remarkable originality have reportedly realized around $8,600 under favorable market conditions, while rare documented misstrikes have reached approximately $9,000 in certain auction or collector sales where applicable. Every one of these results depends on expert grading, verified authenticity, overall condition, and buyer demand, meaning two coins with the same date can ultimately receive dramatically different evaluations. The most captivating stories involve extraordinary documented examples that have approached values of up to $11,000 because they combine exceptional rarity, important mint-produced characteristics, and remarkable preservation into a single collectible. These headline-making coins represent the highest end of the market and remain extremely uncommon, yet they continue to inspire collectors because they demonstrate how an object worth only 5 cents in everyday commerce can unexpectedly become the centerpiece of a serious collection. Countless people have unknowingly spent similar coins over the years, creating the lingering thought that a life-changing discovery may have slipped through someone's fingers simply because no one paused long enough to take a closer look. Anyone hopping to identify a potentially valuable 1977 Jefferson nickel should examine the coin carefully by checking its weight, metal composition, strike quality, rim characteristics, and any evidence of letter doubling or other unusual features before reaching conclusions about its significance. Good lighting, careful magnification, and comparison with verified reference examples can reveal details that are impossible to notice during casual handling, while professional authentication remains the most reliable step before buying or selling any coin believed to possess unusual value. Although remarkable auction and collector prices reflect documented results where applicable and are never guaranteed, every careful examination keeps alive the possibility that an overlooked piece of everyday change could preserve an extraordinary story waiting to be recognized. Coin number 4, 1985 P. Jefferson Nickel from the United States Mint. And at first glance, it looks no different from countless other 5-cent coins that have quietly passed through cash registers, vending machines, and pockets for decades. Its familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the stately image of Monticello on the reverse create the impression of a coin that is too common to deserve a second look. Yet that ordinary appearance conceals a fascinating story that has captured the attention of dedicated collectors. Produced during an era of modern high-speed coinage, this nickel reminds us that even with advanced equipment, remarkable variations could still emerge, leaving behind hidden treasures that often escaped notice while millions of identical-looking coins entered circulation. By the mid-1980s, the United States Mint was striking enormous quantities of circulating coinage to meet the demands of everyday commerce, and the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small P mint mark on this coin, played an important role in that effort. Although quality control was far more sophisticated than in earlier generations, the sheer volume of production meant that occasional imperfections still found their way into circulation. Tiny differences in die condition, striking pressure, or planchet preparation sometimes created coins that looked perfectly normal from a distance, but revealed remarkable characteristics under closer inspection, giving modern collectors an exciting reason to study even the most overlooked dates with patience and curiosity. The visual appeal of a well-preserved 1985 P. Jefferson Nickel can be surprisingly impressive when examined carefully under proper lighting. Brilliant original luster, crisp details in Jefferson's portrait, and sharply defined architectural features on Monticello often distinguish exceptional examples from heavily circulated pieces. Specialists also look for subtle clues hidden within the lettering, design edges, and field surfaces, searching for doubled inscriptions, die cracks, off-center strikes, struck-through errors, clipped planchets, or other legitimate mint-produced anomalies that occurred before the coin ever left the press. Every authentic error tells its own story, preserving a brief moment when the normal rhythm of coin production unexpectedly created something unique. Some of the most memorable discoveries begin in the most ordinary places, with someone sorting through inherited coin collections, rolling loose change from an old jar, or simply paying closer attention to the nickels already sitting in a wallet. Those moments create a powerful emotional connection, because they remind us how easily remarkable opportunities can remain hidden in plain sight for years. A coin dismissed as ordinary by one person may become the highlight of another collector's collection simply because someone decided to examine it instead of spending it. That possibility continues to inspire hobbyists of every experience level to slow down, look carefully, and appreciate the unexpected stories concealed within everyday pocket change. When a genuine 1985 P. Jefferson Nickel combines recognized mint characteristics with collector demand, the results can be surprisingly impressive. Documented auction records and private sales, where applicable, show that minor authenticated mint errors have sometimes realized approximately $900 to $2,000 depending on condition, rarity, certification, and buyer interest. Unusual verified misstrikes have occasionally approached around $3,000, while premium high-grade examples displaying exceptional preservation and attractive original surfaces have reached approximately $3,500. These figures represent specific documented collector outcomes rather than standard market prices, and no individual coin should be expected to achieve similar results without proper evaluation. As rarity and quality continue to increase, so does the level of competition among collectors searching for outstanding examples. Strong mint-state error coins with desirable characteristics have occasionally realized around $5,000, while rare authenticated misstrikes have reportedly reached approximately $6,000 in documented auction or private sale settings where applicable. Extraordinary collector examples possessing exceptional eye appeal, important mint-produced features, and verified authenticity have sometimes approached about $6,500. Every one of these results reflects a unique combination of preservation, certification, collector demand, and timing, making professional grading an essential part of understanding a coin's true market potential. The most extraordinary stories involve exceptional or one-of-a-kind documented discoveries that have achieved prices approaching $9,000 because they represent combinations of rarity, remarkable mint errors, outstanding preservation, and intense collector interest that are seldom encountered. These headline-making examples remain exceptionally uncommon, but they continue to fuel the imagination of collectors who understand that history has repeatedly shown how overlooked coins can unexpectedly become highly prized treasures. Countless valuable opportunities have likely been missed simply because ordinary-looking nickels were spent without careful examination, proving that patience and knowledge often matter far more than luck when remarkable discoveries are made. Before making any decision to buy or sell a 1985p Jefferson nickel, take time to examine its weight, metal composition, color, strike alignment, rim characteristics, and any signs of letter doubling or other unusual features using proper magnification and good lighting. Then seek professional authentication if the coin appears to possess anything out of the ordinary. While the auction and private sale values mentioned throughout this story reflect documented results where applicable and are never guaranteed, they serve as a reminder that extraordinary finds can still emerge from everyday pocket change when curiosity meets careful observation. If you enjoy uncovering hidden stories behind ordinary coins, be sure to subscribe for more remarkable discoveries, because the next life-changing treasure could already be waiting in your pocket, and this journey through another fascinating American coin comes to an end.